looking out the window, and next thing I feel something going on in my pocket. I look down, and there's a hand in my pocket like that, deep in. I grabbed it and went, what is your hand doing in my pocket? As I'm walking off, I start screaming, hey, he's gay, he doesn't like women, he's looking for ladyboys and all this. Sits right in front of me, maybe 6 foot away, pops a couple of balls in, and pops them out, and I'm boo, 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 hitting them around the place, and that was a bit of a laugh. So as I'm walking away, I hear her lean out the window of the car and go, fuck you! Wow, what's up folks, you're on the Thairish Sun, and as you can probably tell from that intro, this week we are covering more of my misadventures here in Thailand. If you enjoy this video, please do subscribe if you haven't already. Drop me a like and a nice positive comment. It's always nice to get those nice comments. So this is the story of my very first trip to Thailand, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail, I think, as much as I can. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days so that I can tell the story as accurately as possible, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't remember. It was a few years ago, and telling it to myself, I started remembering things that I'd previously forgotten. So here we go. November 2011. I had been living in Australia for the past year and my visa was about to run out. Needed to do a visa run, and I decided to come to Thailand for the first time. Very excited about it. I'd never been before, and I'd always wanted to come throughout my 20s. I had just turned 30, and so over I came. So I arrived at my hotel, no problem, paid the guy, checked in. Staff didn't really speak much English, but that was all good. It was a hostel kind of place, but I had booked a private room. It was a little bit out of town. So I'm a 30-year-old man, it's my first time ever in Thailand. Obviously I wanted to get on the piss, didn't I? So first thing I did was find out how to get from my hotel to Patpong night market, and the way to do it, the best way to do it, was to get on the BTS. Now it's about a 10-minute walk from my hotel to the nearest station. And like I say, I had wrongly assumed that this country was going to be quite dangerous, and I remember thinking, oh, I don't want to have too much money in my pockets, and what if I get mugged on the way there and stuff like that. I had all these irrational thoughts going through my head. Anyway, the walk over to the BTS, obviously I was left well alone. And I got onto the BTS. I can't remember how much I paid, but I remember it was, I want to say it was like 10 baht or so. It was something really, really cheap. And I remember thinking, wow, what a great service. But I got on to the train and stuck my bum to the wall. I had my hands in my pockets. And I thought, you know, don't get tricked now on this dangerous train. The next thing, I was looking about. I was like, load of girls with like iPads and iPhones and iPods and that. And I'm like, these people have got better clobber than me. Like, it's not dangerous at all. So I got off the train and I went to the Patpong night market. And if you don't know what the Patpong night market is, it's a market that's on at night, but it's also at a red light district. So I got there, and I didn't obviously know anything. Like I say, I'd done no research, and I had a lot of guys coming up to me. Now, one of the things I'd been told was to be careful of these dodgy blokes coming up to you. Ping pong show, blah blah. So I seen this one guy, and he was like, I own a pub, it's just down there, loads of women, why don't you come down, see my pub and that. I was like, if you just tell me the name of it, I just got here, literally just got off the train, tell me the name of it, and later on I probably will call in for a pint. He's like, no, just come now. I'm like, look, I just got off the train, I've never been here before, you're the first person I spoke to, tell me the name, I'll come back later. He's like, it's just up there, he's getting a bit pushy, put me off. I could see it was a dodgy looking alley. Like I say, first day I was still thinking, is this country dangerous? I wasn't too sure. So I was like, look, never mind, see you later. As I'm walking off, I start screaming, hey, he's gay, he doesn't like women, he's looking for ladyboys and all this. I was like, not off to a good start here, am I? And there was the usual guys, you know, cocaine, marijuana, trying to get me arrested. I'm like, no thank you. A little bit windy down here, so I'm going to head to somewhere indoors and continue this story there. Fair play to you Bangkok vloggers. I don't know how you find quiet places to record, because I'm driven demented here in Hua Hin. After driving around for about an hour there, just trying to find somewhere, anywhere, quiet enough to have a little chat. And even here at the True Arena, where it's pretty quiet, there's a guy on a PA there commentating on a football match, so he's going to be in the background. This is the True Arena. This was the location I used mainly for a video about Hua Hin sport, which I put a lot of effort into. It took about a week to make, and it's got a disappointingly low amount of views. So if you're interested in that, please do watch it. This is where the Hua Hin Open was played. I spent quite a bit of time here in December watching that. Let's go over here. Okay. So the first night, I'd arrived at Patpong night market. We got that far. So I ended up in a bar called the Pink Panther. And the Pink Panther was a go-go bar, but the front of it was sort of like almost a normal sports bar. It had the football on, and then inside was a load of girls on poles and stuff. And the next thing, a few minutes before 11 o'clock, all the girls got down and they made this like boxing ring, all the ropes attached to the poles. And then some boys came out at a Muay Thai fight. Now, they weren't really trying to knock each other out, but it was still pretty competitive. It was like a decent sparring session, very entertaining. And so after that, I was looking about for somewhere sort of semi-normal. I'd never been here before. I didn't want to go straight into the naughty boyness, let's say. I just wanted to settle in, have a few drinks and stuff. So I went, and a lot of them were hello, welcome type places. And so I found this one place that was like a nightclub or whatever. And this girl was giving me the eye. And she was very, very, very good looking. And so I went over to her. We were looking at each other and we ended up talking. Bought her a couple of drinks. Basically, we decided she was going to come home with me. So we got into a Tuk Tuk, my first ever time getting into a Tuk Tuk. And I knew the name of the area, I can't remember it now. But I couldn't remember the name of the hotel or exactly where I was staying. But I knew if we could find the general area, I would figure it out. So as we were almost there, I knew we were somewhere near, and suddenly her demeanour completely changed. She started yakking, shouting at me and stuff, and you know, clearly slagging me off to the tuk-tuk driver in Thai. And I thought, I'm not having this. So suddenly I thought, oh, I know exactly where I am. And by now, like I say, she was shouting at me, and I thought, I'm not taking her home. So if I remember rightly, I gave the tuk-tuk driver his money. I said, pull in, gave him the money. I got out and I ran full speed, got to my hotel, scanned my way in, opened, closed the door, went up to my room on my own, passed out. I was drunk. So I say Bangkok is a fantastic place to be if you know a local or if you know someone that lives there already. And now that I've been living here for a while, and I follow some people that live in Bangkok on YouTube and that, so like Jerome from Global Travel Mate and Pete at Thairish Times, and obviously Chris Parker and stuff, but they've started showing me that actually Bangkok's got loads of stuff to do and loads of like normal nice things that aren't, no, they're not touristy, but they're nice parks, and there's loads of stuff in Bangkok that I never would have imagined, because not educated to the place, not been there enough. So I got up the next day. I'm obviously a bit hungover and stuff, but I want to see some of the city. It's my first time in Bangkok. So I googled things to do, and they're probably all a bit touristy. But anyway, I got on, did the BTS, and actually a lot of Bangkok was shut down at the time. If you remember, at the end of 2011, there was very bad floods in Bangkok, and a lot of the city was inaccessible. And even the stuff that was open, a lot of it had like sandbags outside the shops and that. And Koh San Road was closed off at the time as well. Like the tuk-tuks literally couldn't get from one side of the city to the other. And so I've been in Siam Square, and next thing I was walking around, there's like a market opposite it, and this tuk-tuk driver started telling me like, oh, like, where do you want to go? And I'll show you the temple. And I knew this scam. And he's like, oh, you know, well, everything, like, Siam Square's closed. I said, well, it's not closed. I've just been there. I know it's open. He's like, no, it's a Buddhist holiday. It's closed. And I'm like, it's not, mate. He's like, no, they closed 10 minutes ago, so it won't be open anymore. Come with me, kind of thing. Now, luckily, this is one of the scams that I was wise to.
Please do not trust anyone around the palace who tries to delay or divert your visit.
What in the world?
Inside.
We've had at least 3 people try to tell us that the temple didn't open until 4 p.m.
And the speaker just said that the last admission is at 3:30. Why would they tell us that?
I had like a really good perception of how nice and helpful all of the people in Thailand were.
They're called the Smiling Country.
And now to know that we were getting scammed is going to make me a lot more cautious.
So, night 2, I'm walking around. I've gone back to Patpong night market again. I'm trying to avoid that one bar because I don't want to see that woman again that I ran away from the night before. And I got chatting with this one guy, and because there's a lot of people say, oh, ping pong show, but this one guy seemed quite trustworthy. And he says, ping pong show and that. I'm like, nah, mate, it's a scam, innit? You know, I know the crack. He's like, no. He said, I'll take you to one. He said, you have a drink. He said, whenever you want to leave, you just leave. And I was like, well, look, I'll tell you what, I'll go in with you. But I said, on the condition, you have to stay with me. And when I'm ready to leave, we'll leave together. I said, I'll buy you a drink. I said, I'm going to stay for one drink, see 5 minutes of the show. Now, if it had been a normal, I'd have been more interested in, for example, let's say it's a show. It starts at 7, finishes at 8. Go in, pay your entrance fee, get a ticket, have a beer or two, and then you know. But this wasn't that. This was just, it's like a normal club. Anyway, we went in. Me and him were the only 2 people in there. I got a beer, he got a whiskey or something. We're drinking. And next thing, this woman comes over and hands me like a table tennis ping pong racket. Sits right in front of me, maybe 6 foot away. Pops a couple of balls in. And pops them out, and I'm boo, 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 hitting them around the place, and that was a bit of a laugh. But once you've done it, right? So I was like, okay, we finish our beer and let's get out of here. And he's like, oh, you should give us some money because blah. So I think I give her 100 baht or whatever. And then next thing, another one came across, and she's like trying to give me the racket, and I'm like, I've already done it now, so I'm all right, sir. She's like, well, he's like, just let one more. I'm like, okay. She does it, poo, 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 you know, 100 baht or whatever. We finished our drinks, and lucky enough for me, there wasn't a big scam. Me and him left. He seemed like a decent enough guy. I said, see you later. So I'd had a couple of beers now. Went back to Pink Panther. Same thing, 11 o'clock. They set up the Muay Thai. Some boys came out, did a bit of Muay Thai and that. And so after the Muay Thai, now I've had a few drinks, and I thought, I'll go back to that bar again. See if that same girl that I ran away from last night is there. So I go in, and sure enough, she's sat there, and she sees me, and she starts laughing, and she's like, what happened last night? She's like, you ran away. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, you started yakking, and you know, I didn't really want to spend the night with you after that. But anyway, like I say, she was very, very good looking. So we get into the taxi this time, like a proper taxi, and as we're driving along, it was standstill traffic. Now, it was the middle of the night and it was still standstill traffic, so fair play to anyone that drives about in Bangkok. I couldn't be doing with it. So I'm sat there, right, standstill traffic, looking out the window, and next thing I feel something going on in my pocket. I look down, and there's a hand in my pocket like that, deep in. I grabbed it and went, what is your hand doing in my pocket? So she's like, oh, you know, like caught red-handed. I'm like, what the hell, you know? Why is your hand there? So obviously I know why it was there, but so I'm like, unbelievable. So I open up the door, slam it shut. So as I'm walking away, I hear her lean out the window of the car and go, fuck you! So it's my 3rd day in Bangkok, my 3rd day in Thailand. And I decide that tonight I don't want to go to the Patpong night market. I want to go somewhere normal, meet some Bangkokians, both locals and expats. And so I do a little Google search and I find 2 or 3 nightclubs that I think will suit my needs. It sounded pretty cool. So I put on a shirt, bit of aftershave, I took the train, a little bit of a walk down, but I get there, go to the one that I think is going to be the best. As I get to the door, the bouncers say, no, mate. I'm like, what? Really? Like, what's wrong? So they're like, no shorts. Now, obviously, you wouldn't get in back home in a pair of shorts either, so I guess it makes sense now. But at the time, I thought it would just be a little bit more laid back here, and I was like, you have to wear long trousers? I said, look, I'm sweating already. If I put on long trousers, I'm going to melt. So, like, you can't come in here in shorts. You need to go put on some trousers. So, just walk to the next one. So I walk. I think it was about a 10-minute walk. Now I'm a little bit more sweaty. And to get there, and it's the same thing. No shorts. I'm like, wow. Go down to the third one. No shorts. Now, going back to the room to get long trousers wasn't an option anyway, because I hadn't brought any. I knew I would be wearing shorts all the time. I don't think I've worn long trousers in Thailand ever to this day. It's too hot here for me anyway to wear long trousers. So I went to the Patpong night market again, didn't I? And I made a promise to myself. I said, this time I'm just going to have a couple of drinks, stay sober, don't want to be drunk. I'm going to go to the Pink Panther again, watch the Muay Thai. That'll be over about 20 past 11. Last train's around 12 o'clock. Loads of time to just walk around the corner, get on a train, go home. So it's all going to plan. I've had a couple of beers, still sober, and I'm thinking, I'm in the mood now to have my arm twisted. So I know if I go the busy way, I'm going to have all these guys saying, come and do this, come and do that. So I say, I'll just go the quiet way, and there's less chance of someone convincing me to do something. So I'm walking around, I'm about halfway there, and this guy comes up to me and says, hey man, in a Thai accent obviously, but he's like, hey, you looking for women? I'm like, I mean, I kind of am. And I'm thinking in my head, he's going to say, like, I'll take you to this bar, or I'll take you to a club, and there'll be a load of women there. I can look about, see if there's anyone I like. Maybe we get talking. And if I don't like the place, after one beer, I've still got enough time to shoot up, get on that last train, and go home. He's like, just follow me, sort of thing. So, all right. So I followed him. He took me into this restaurant. It was a narrow but very long restaurant. And I was like, I don't want food. He's like, just follow me. So we walked through this restaurant, and just people in there eating, and that completely normal. You never would have thought that this was happening. And then when you went through the back where the kitchen was, there was just another door. You open up this other door, and suddenly there was this room with about maybe 40 women with all numbers, and they were all just lined up against the wall. And he's like, which one do you want? So after 3 days, I thought, that's enough Bangkok for me. And went home and did a little Google search about where am I going to go. Now, I knew I was going to go to Phuket because all anyone ever said to me when they spoke about Thailand was Phuket. You've got to go to Phuket. You've got to go to Patpong. You've got to go to Bangla Road. So it was a 19-day holiday, so I knew I had enough time. So I thought, what can I do in and around the Bangkok area rather than just going straight to Phuket? And the thing that grabbed me was Koh Chang. But Koh Chang is a 7-hour journey away from Bangkok. So I'm thinking there's got to be somewhere closer that I can just break up the journey. And so while I was doing my Google search, I came across a place called Pattaya. Now, or Pattaya, up to you. Now, I'm going to say Pattaya, so deal with it. And that is where we're going to pick things up in part 2 of my first ever trip to Thailand. If you've not heard of Pattaya, Google it, because I hadn't heard of it, and I can't understand how. I'd heard of Phuket a million times, but I had never heard of Pattaya. That's it for this one. If you enjoyed it, please press that subscribe button, give me a like, give me a comment, a nice positive comment. Don't need any negativity, thank you. Until next time, take care of yourself. See you soon. Bye-bye.